Tonight, we continue to talk about the visiting Commonwealth scribe in the nation's capital. She's supposed to be in Cameroon for 5 days. Our guest tonight is a political analyst, Mr. John Ako. Mr. John, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mimi.
Obviously, you have been following a series of happenings ever since the Commonwealth Secretary General arrived to Cameroon. Patricia Scotland met yesterday with the President of the Republic. Before we come back to her declarations and that of the head of state, she was expected to visit the Southwest Regional headquarters of Buea, precisely the university, according to reports. But for security reasons, allegedly, she could not go there. Can we say that that could possibly be the only reason why she could not go to the University of Buea?
Yeah, I don't want to imagine that it was based on security reasons, because the government has always been giving us assurances that the two regions are doing well, and bet for one or two other issues. I want to equally believe that it is not because of insecurity, and we are just failing to respect the rules of this nation. You remember that if Cameroon is having a relationship with the Commonwealth, it is having that relationship because of these two regions, the Northwest and the Southwest regions. Before Patricia Scotland arrived Cameroon, a program was made known that she was to visit the Northwest and the Southwest region, then participate at the University of Buea graduation ceremony. But this is not what was done. The government totally and vehemently might have been refusing from keeping away certain facts and allowing these facts to stay within the borders of Cameroon, never wanting this particular individual, which is a top official of the Commonwealth of Nations Association, to have an eyewitness of itself. If we are proud of what we are doing in the field, if the state is proud of the message she has been sending around, there is no problem, there is no issue. There was even a need to allow her to have a testimony of itself.
Is that not revealing of the unstable nature of these regions that you're talking about?
It will equally mean that the government is coming to confirm that nothing is going right. Nothing is going right. This is the reason this particular individual, who is here for the same reasons, I will tell you, if Patricia Scotland is coming to Cameroon, it's coming because of the English language present in Cameroon. It's not coming because of Yaounde. It is coming because of the English people based in this country. And when such top officials are now avoided from visiting the area that makes this part of the country a member of the Commonwealth of Nations, there is a problem. I have said several times, we need to be sincere to tell her that we don't want you to see the mess we have created in the field. We don't want you to witness what we have seen, because you can imagine there is a lot of tension, and the government knows very well. I don't want to say they are not managing it, but I believe the option is a wrong option.
Talking about the common law values, you talked about the language.
Yes.
Represented in the two Anglophone regions of Cameroon. We have human rights. We have the language, as you earlier indicated. Are they being respected in Cameroon?
There is a problem.
As the scribe is visiting the
Yeah,
country.
she is visiting. Remember, I believe some time ago, the members of whatsoever we call the Anglophone secessionist group equally made an opinion, an appeal to visit the Queen, to talk with the Queen of England. What Cameroonians fail to know is that during this letter written by the group of these Anglophone Cameroonians, the Queen referred them to the British Foreign Secretary and to the Secretary of the Commonwealth. And so I believe, within the strongest of my opinion, that Patricia Scotland came to Cameroon with the intention to take first-class report for himself and, if at all, witness what is going on in the field. But what has the government done? The government has not done what they used to do, or they have not done anything new from what they have been doing, is to carry diplomats, launch them in beautiful hotels, launch them in safe environment, give them and tell Cameroon is heaven. This is what we have just seen. And that her visit, made to be for 5 days, has been streamlined to 3 days based in Yaounde. We are doubting if this is the option, why this lady came to Cameroon to dine and drink wine or Scotch whiskey within the corridors of the Yaounde Palace, or within the corridors of the Prime Minister's office.
Possibly the opposition leaders and the actors of the civil society that are expected to meet her might bring some of these problems to the table.
I can't be in a country like Cameroon where I was sent to conclude a mission and I still live on getting such information through a second hand.
So going
there
to
was a need.
To the ground to get the information
That is the plan. That was the plan from the office of the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, to witness the situation by herself so that she can have a better story to tell. Because whatsoever it would sound that her meeting with the civil society organizations tomorrow, you will see the government also coming out later to tell the very international community that information has been cooked up, information has been mounted. Nothing of that nature exists in Cameroon. Cameroon is a peaceful nation. Cameroon is a stable nation. Cameroon economic situation is doing relatively very well. And these are the stories
we are hoping to see the criteria, or of course those who will be constituting the civil society actors and the opposition leaders that will be meeting her tomorrow. Now, on the declarations of the scribe of the Commonwealth of Nations, she talked about the need for youths to be included in the decision-making circles in Cameroon. She talked about the need for dialogue as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned. What do you have to say about her declarations?
The first declaration, this is the declaration made by the European Union just following the ended meeting in Abidjan on African Union AU summit, which identify youth exodus, or the willingness of the youth to leave the African continent because of lack of what a political agenda for the youths. Remember, sometime also, I believe, on the same channel, on talking on the CPDM 35 years in power, I said the problem in Cameroon today, when I see the Cameroonian youths, I see them at the mercy of heaven, where we accept that 60% of the population that makes up a country like ours are youths between the age of 20 right up to 40. But when you look at the political agenda, when you look at the composition of those whom we call the government, the average age for governance, those who call them ministers, or how can I put them, the average age is 75. And you see people at 75 making laws and rules or managing for the purpose of those who are at age 40. What options? What is the present economic movement? Do they have the materials at hand to handle present day issues? Those who were in school more than 70 years ago to manage economic problems of present generation, I will tell you it is a lie. Because a child who presently depends on the computer to have all his information, it was not the same situation in the past, and we cannot even know the value of a computer. Today, a father that was not present when a telephone, a smartphone was discovered, and the various options this same telephone offers, and the opportunity, we hardly see the need for a child to hold a computer or to hold a smartphone. I'm telling you that there is a quite frustration by the Cameroonian youths on the part of governance. One of the aspects of governance which I've said in Cameroon we need to see, I have been calling on the youths that the youths, if they are unable to get their parents or their old age outdated adult, put them on the economic agenda, in some countries the youths take power by force. And you should know that dominance in another regime, we said power can never be given. Power is acquired, or it is earned. If so, the Cameroonian youths have been called upon in recent times to take actions and gain the country for themselves. And I believe if you see it, you will imagine that in many countries throughout the world, if I can remember very well, J.F. Kennedy, the former one-time U.S. president, said in every country throughout the world, the youths have always known to create an impact. Any country that tends to bury its youths, then buries the life of that nation.
So to you, it's not a similar situation in Cameroon?
It is not like similar. That is what it is. It is difficult in a government of today to call a youth who is a minister in Cameroon with age less than 50. Most of them, in the name of ministers, have at least 65 on their birth certificate. Yes, this is what we are saying. Yes. We need to have confidence within ourselves. We need to have confidence that the Cameroon of today, the youths of today, are not the ones of yesterday, and that there are things they can do, and they will do it perfectly well, now, as if they have lived a century ago.
On the call for dialogue, it's not the first time. Many are thinking that Patricia Scotland was supposed to go beyond that. Do you have a similar? Do you share a similar view? Because it's not the first time we're hearing about dialogue, inclusive dialogue, genuine dialogue as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned.
I was even embarrassed why Patricia Scotland should be making mention of dialogue, which has been called several times. The UN Secretary General made mention of it. The Francophonie organization called for it. The African Union has called for dialogue. It is not the first time. But you know, we just finished saying something. These people we have in the name of government are too old and aging that their memory doesn't reason and cannot fit the realities of the present Cameroonian situation. Nobody has ever learned to know that nothing can we handle by war. Nothing. Arms have never been used to handle any war in the world. I will tell you of the FARC rebel crisis in Colombia, which the president of that nation, Emmanuel dos Santos, has just gained a Nobel Peace Prize of giving dialogue a chance rather than arms. I mean, solving a
the president
crisis.
says the bilingualism commission is there to restore.
It is not bilingualism. This is why I still fail.
That is what he
I
said
said
yesterday.
Cameroonians have failed to reason that if we need a stadium, we need a road that will take us to that stadium. If the teachers were out and the lawyers were out, these are not the lone problems suffered by Cameroonians. And I'm telling you, when we have major causes, there are always also some remote causes. Cameroonians have made mention of the system of governance, and that the form of governance is not what they don't like. And they accept very well. Every government, every Cameroonian accept that what the Anglophones are suffering are basic Cameroonian problem. Why can the government not solve a Cameroonian problem rather than looking for other grounds to resolve personal issues?
Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Talking Point. We hope to have you some other time. It's always a pleasure having you. To our televiewers, so thank you as well for joining us in this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Equinox Television. Until we meet again, goodbye.